Imagine if you could learn anything, a new language, a skill, even a subject you've been struggling with, 10 times faster than you do now. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that the secret isn't studying harder, it's studying smarter? Most people waste hours trying to memorize things the hard way, but today I'm going to show you how to hack your brain so you can learn faster, remember better, and actually enjoy the process. Whether you're a student, professional, or just someone who loves learning, these tips will change the way you absorb information forever. So if you're ready to unlock your brain's full potential, stick around, because I'm about to reveal the exact strategies to help you master any skill in record time. Let's go! Number 1. Learn by doing, hands-on experience. Let's be real. How many times have you watched a tutorial, read a guide, or saved a how-to video, but never actually tried doing the thing? Yeah, I've been there too. But here's the truth. You'll never truly learn until you actually do it. Watching and learning are great, but real learning happens when you try, make mistakes, and figure things out, especially if you want to learn fast. Think about this. If I wanted to learn how to play basketball, should I just watch NBA highlights all day? Nope. I gotta pick up the ball, take some shots, and probably miss a bunch before I get better. Want to learn a new language? Stop memorizing words and start speaking. You'll sound weird at first. That's normal. Keep going. Same with cooking. You don't become a great chef just by watching cooking videos. You gotta grab some ingredients and start cooking. And yeah, you might burn something or make a big mess. But guess what? That's part of the process. Let's be honest. Mistakes suck. No one likes messing up. But mistakes are literally how your brain learns. Your brain actually learns faster when it fails and corrects. Don't fear mistakes. Embrace them. And learning by doing helps you learn 10 times faster. Why? Because when you take action, your brain builds real connections, not just passive knowledge. When you practice, you gain real experience, and experience is the ultimate teacher. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, and start doing. That's the secret to learning faster, getting better, and actually mastering any skill. Number 2, teach what you learn. Feynman technique. This is a super powerful trick to learn anything way faster. Have you ever read something, thought you understood it, but then when you tried to explain it to someone, your brain just went blank? Yeah, me too. That's because understanding something in your head is different from explaining it out loud. When you teach, you quickly realize what you actually understand and what still feels confusing. If you can't explain a concept simply, it means you haven't fully grasped it yet. This forces you to go back, review, and fill in the missing pieces, making your learning stronger. Studies show that teaching others helps retain information better than just silently reviewing notes, highlighting a textbook, or listening passively. Because speaking, organizing thoughts, and answering questions activate different areas of your brain, strengthening your learning connections. For example, maybe you just learned a cool fact about space, history, or even a new skill. Try explaining it to a friend. The act of putting it into words forces your brain to organize the information better. And if your friend doesn't get it, even better, their questions will help you fill in the gaps in your own understanding. Okay, maybe you don't have a friend around. No problem. Teach an imaginary audience or even talk to yourself in the mirror. Seriously, just talk out loud, pretend someone's listening, and explain what you've learned. You might feel a little silly, but trust me, it works. Number 3, use multisensory learning. Have you ever read a page in a book and the moment you look away, you forget everything you just read? That's because most of us try to learn using only one sense, just reading or just listening. But if you want to learn 10 times faster, you need to engage multiple senses at the same time. That means using sight, sound, and touch together. Our brain is like a huge network of connections. The more ways you interact with information, the stronger those connections get, which means you remember things better and faster. For example, instead of just reading in your head, try reading out loud. When you hear yourself say the words, you're using both sight and sound, which helps the information stick better. Watching a video or listening to a podcast while following along with notes? This combines visual and auditory learning, making it easier to understand and remember. Try summarizing what you learned in your own words. It's way better than just highlighting a textbook. Writing forces your brain to actively process the information. So if you want to learn 10 times faster, don't just rely on one sense. Engage multiple senses at the same time. Using sight, sound, and touch together helps your brain create stronger connections, making learning faster. Number 4, spaced repetition and smart recall. Let's be honest, have you tried cramming the night before an exam? Staying up late, drinking a ton of coffee, trying to shove everything into our brains in one go. But let's face it, the next day you can hardly remember what you studied. Yeah, that's because cramming is actually the worst way to learn. It's stressful, and most of the info just slips right out of your head. So if you want to remember things faster and for the long run, we need to ditch the cramming and start using something called spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is basically reviewing what you've learned at increasing intervals over time. Instead of cramming all at once, you review your material after a day, then after a few days, then after a week, and so on. This helps move the information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Okay, let's say you're learning a new language. At first, you learn a bunch of new words. If you just read them once and move on, they'll probably slip away really quickly. But if you review those words the next day, then 3 days later, then a week later, your brain starts locking them in. You're strengthening the memory every time you review it. Imagine doing this with a set of flashcards. You'll start to notice you're remembering the words much easier each time you go back to review them. And that's the magic of spaced repetition. Spaced repetition works because it mimics how your brain naturally learns. When we learn something new, our brains forget it at first, but with a little push, like reviewing it, the brain starts to make it stick for good. By spacing out those reviews, you're giving your brain the best chance to hold on to that info. Number 5, make it fun and gamify learning. I know learning can sometimes feel like a chore, right? You're sitting there reading or listening, but all you want to do is just relax. But what if I told you that you could actually make learning fun and exciting? Well, guess what? You totally can, and it's called gamifying your learning. Gamification is about turning your learning into a game. Instead of just going through the motions, you create rewards, challenges, and even levels to make it feel more like playing your favorite video game. Let's say you're learning a new language. Instead of just memorizing words for an hour, set a challenge for yourself. For example, I'm going to learn 10 new words in the next 20 minutes. Make it a game where you try to beat your own score each time. Who doesn't love rewards, right? After you hit your challenge or goal, reward yourself with something small but satisfying. It could be a favorite snack, a break to watch your favorite show, or even a few minutes of gaming time. Treat yourself for achieving something new. Want to make it even more exciting? Compete with yourself or a friend. Let's say you're both learning a new skill. Set a timer for a set amount of time, and whoever gets the most done wins a prize. It doesn't have to be big, just something fun. Now, you might be wondering, why does gamifying make learning so much better? Well, here's the thing. Games trigger a dopamine release in your brain, which makes you feel good when you achieve something. This feeling of reward encourages you to keep going and stay motivated to learn more. By turning learning into a game, you're creating an environment where your brain is more motivated, focused, and rewarded. It makes learning feel fun and rewarding, which not only boosts your memory, but also speeds up your ability to pick up new skills and information. Number 6, apply the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle. The 80-20 rule says that in pretty much anything, 80% of the results come from just 20% of the effort. In other words, there are a few key things that will give you the majority of the results. The trick is knowing what to focus on, so you don't waste time on stuff that doesn't really matter. Let's say you want to learn guitar. There are so many chords, techniques, and songs you could practice, but not all of them are equally important. If you're just starting out, you don't need to practice every single chord or advanced finger-picking techniques right away. Instead, focus on the 20% of chords that are used in the majority of songs. With just these basic chords, you can already play a ton of songs. This is the 80-20 rule in action. You're practicing a small number of things, but you're getting a huge return in the number of songs you can play and the progress you make. So instead of getting bogged down with all the little details and feeling overwhelmed, you're putting your energy into the few things that matter most. By mastering the essentials, you make faster progress and avoid wasting time on things that don't really matter at first. The 80-20 rule is about maximizing your effort. It helps you learn smarter, not harder, which means you get better results way faster. Number 7, embrace the power of questions. You know that feeling when you're learning something, but it just doesn't stick? One big reason is that we often just accept information without really thinking about it. But if you want to learn faster and remember better, you got to start asking more questions. Instead of just memorizing facts, try asking why, how, what if, and what else. This forces your brain to dig deeper and actually understand things instead of just storing random information. Think about it. Have you ever been around a little kid who asks a million questions? Why is the sky blue? Why do we need to sleep? What happens if I mix this and that? It might seem annoying, but that's actually one of the best ways to learn. Kids learn so fast because they're naturally curious and always questioning everything. As we grow up, we kind of stop doing this. We just accept things as they are. But if you start questioning again, you'll remember and understand things way better and faster. Let's say you're learning history. Don't just memorize dates and events. Ask, why did this event happen? What if things had gone differently? How does this affect us today? This way, history stops feeling like a list of boring facts and becomes a story that makes sense. Even when learning a new skill, like playing an instrument, ask yourself, why does this chord sound good with that one? How do professional musicians approach this? What if I try playing it differently? When you ask questions, you go beyond surface-level learning. Your brain starts making connections, and that helps you learn 10 times faster because you're actually understanding things, not just memorizing them. So, next time you're learning something new, don't just accept it, question it. The more you ask, the faster you learn. Number 8, short bursts of study. Let's be real. How many times have you sat down to study or learn something new, and after 30 minutes, your brain just shuts down? You're reading, but nothing is sticking. You check your phone, get distracted, and suddenly an hour is gone, and you've learned nothing. Yeah, we've all been there. Well, here's the good news. You don't have to study for hours to learn effectively. In fact, learning in short bursts is way more effective than cramming for hours. Think of it like working out. If you try to lift weights for 3 hours straight, you'll burn out fast. But if you do short, intense workouts consistently, you build strength without exhausting yourself. Learning works the same way. Instead of trying to read a textbook for an hour, break it into short 10 to 25-minute sessions. Set a timer. Focus on one small topic, and when the time's up, take a break. Your brain absorbs and remembers information better when it has time to process between sessions. The reason this helps you learn faster is that your brain stays focused longer when you study in short bursts, preventing mental fatigue. It also improves memory retention since your brain has time to process information between sessions. Plus, you stay motivated because learning doesn't feel like a chore. So if you want to learn 10 times faster, stop forcing yourself to study for hours. Instead, learn in short, focused bursts. It's easier, more fun, and way more effective than cramming. Number 9, surround yourself with experts and smarter people. You ever notice how when you hang out with certain people, you start picking up their habits, their way of thinking, even the way they talk? That's because we naturally absorb the energy, knowledge, and mindset of the people around us. If you want to learn faster and level up in any skill or area of life, the secret is simple. Surround yourself with people who are already where you want to be. Think of it like learning a new language. You could spend months studying grammar rules and memorizing vocabulary. Or you could go to the country where everyone speaks that language. When you're surrounded by native speakers, you'll pick up the language way faster because you're constantly hearing, speaking, and thinking in it. The same thing happens with any skill or knowledge. It's called learning by osmosis. Basically, your brain absorbs the way experts think, problem solve, and approach challenges just by being around them. Want to get better at business? Don't just read books, network with entrepreneurs. Join business groups, attend events, or just spend time around people who are already running successful businesses. The way they talk, make decisions, and solve problems will rub off on you. Want to be a better musician? Instead of just practicing alone, jam with experienced musicians. You'll naturally start picking up new techniques, better timing, and even the confidence to perform. Trying to get fit? Surround yourself with people who love working out. If your friends are hitting the gym regularly, eating healthy, and staying active, you're way more likely to do the same. Surrounding yourself with smart, skilled, and driven people pushes you to grow way faster than learning alone. So if you want to master something 10 times faster, find the right people, spend time with them, and watch how quickly you improve. Number 10, optimize your brain with sleep and exercise. When it comes to learning faster, sleep and exercise are super important. Yep, you heard me right. You probably already know these things are good for your health, but did you know they can actually boost your brain power and help you learn faster? It's no secret that a good night's sleep makes you feel refreshed, but did you know it's actually critical for learning? When we sleep, our brain goes through a process called memory consolidation, which is basically when your brain takes all the new info you learned during the day and stores it in long-term memory. Think of it like saving your homework to the cloud so you can access it later. Pretty cool, right? So if you've ever crammed for an exam or worked all night only to find out you barely remember anything the next day, well, that's because your brain didn't get the chance to properly organize and store all that info. Sleep is like your brain's reset button, and without enough of it, learning just doesn't stick as well. Now, let's talk about exercise. Exercise is fuel for your brain. You might not think of exercise as something that directly helps with learning, but it actually makes a huge difference. When you exercise, your body increases blood flow, which means more oxygen and nutrients get sent to your brain. This helps your brain work better, faster, and more creatively. Even something as simple as a 10-minute walk can improve your focus and creativity. Imagine you've been stuck on a problem or a task, and you just can't seem to figure it out. Taking a short walk can help you clear your mind, and suddenly you have a burst of ideas or solutions. That's because exercise boosts the production of chemicals like dopamine and endorphins, which make your brain sharper and more focused. When you combine good sleep with regular exercise, you're giving your brain the perfect environment to absorb and retain information. Sleep helps your brain consolidate what you've learned, while exercise keeps your brain sharp, focused, and ready to tackle new challenges. The better your brain is working, the faster you can learn and retain new skills or information. So there you have it. Learning 10 times faster isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. From learning by doing using multiple senses and teaching what you learn, to taking short study bursts and surrounding yourself with the right people, these strategies can seriously change the way you absorb information. The key: take action. Don't just passively consume knowledge, apply it, experiment, and keep improving. Learning should be fun, effective, and something you actually enjoy. So pick a skill, use these techniques, and watch how fast you improve. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Now go out there and start learning 10 times faster.